Hey guys, welcome back to day 16. So today we're actually going to be using the film LUTs that are built into Davinci Resolve and we're going to learn how to properly use those LUTs and then maybe add a little bit extra to make it look more filmic, like you're shooting on film. Actually, more like it's printed on film is the correct way to say that, because these LUTs are actually to mimic the print on film. So like movie theaters, they don't do as much now. When the movie theaters had the projectors, they would run the film through there. So, and that film that's running through there, the actual movie, that's what they would print these on, essentially. So it's basically kind of like going into that look of that film that's being printed on there. It's not the film that it was shot on, but the film that it was reprinted on, if that makes sense. So, or at least for what we're going to be doing with Kodak 2383, but there's also some Fujifilm in here that we'll take a look at, just to kind of see how you can be versatile in terms of using these LUTs in here. So those are like the main ones. There's the Fujifilm, I don't even know the name of it, honestly. So it's 351 3DI would be the Fujifilm, I guess. So the really popular one though is the 2383 Kodak. So we're gonna look at that, how to apply that in Davinci Resolve. You don't just put the LUT on, because that looks awful in Davinci Resolve. So let's dive in and take a look at what you actually do. So, I'm not even plugged in. Look at that. You guys are just seeing nothingness right now. That's great. All right. Hopefully it'll pop up soon. Soon here. Amateur hour over here. All right, there we go. We're up now. All right. Where to sit. So I'm gonna sit in this top corner. I always end up covering something up here. I will be switching corners. I'll try to keep it on it this time. So here is that video that we've been working on kind of throughout this 21 days. We shot it just over a week ago now. And I'm just gonna do this clip right here. I was kind of messing around with some of these other clips. Yeah, ignore those. I was doing some experimenting over here with the LUTs and all that, and kind of seeing what it looked like. And now they're all trashed because I changed my timeline color space. So let me show you guys that really quick. So if we go into color management, I'm in DaVinci YRGB Rec 709 Rec 709-A, because I'm using a Mac and using the with the Mac display. I think even with other displays, you still need to use Rec 709-A. I have to double check that. But I know when I color grade on a Mac and then I export, it looks totally different. So Rec 709-A, and then that's kind of like the base, right? So now we're in the color page down here, and we've got this shot right here, just like my wife walking up to put on her snowshoes kind of deal. So I liked this shot because it had some good variety, and I wasn't liking how the LUT changed the greens on the trees. So I'm probably not going to actually use a LUT on this deal. I'm not a huge fan of what it does to the trees. Although I feel like it's a great LUT if you don't have typically, I feel like the greens just don't look great on them, but I also don't like those bluish, tealish greens. So that's probably the real reason. So, but really diving in, first off, you want to do all your grades beforehand. So you want to do your grading like you would kind of normally do, but you still want to be able to view it with the Kodak LUT on there, right? So you want to see what the end product's going to be. So what I end up doing is going Options S, I don't know, standard little grading section here. We can move this up here. It doesn't matter if my face is covering it. I'm gonna go Options S again. We're gonna drop this down just so you guys can see it right here and kind of differentiate from this is our primaries and our secondary grade. We don't want to mess with that yet. First thing we need to do, obviously we are in log. Maybe it's not obvious, but we are in log, S-log3. So essentially what we need to do, I'm gonna switch my little guy over here. So I'm going to switch over to here. So now what we need to do is we need to go in and we need to basically go into Rec 709, because the LUTs that we're going to be using, and the whole process it's a process. Trust me, it's a process. It's going to need Rec 709 initially. So we're going to go into here, and we're going to go click on this. We're going to look up color space transform. You're going to drop the color space transform onto if you have maybe using a LUT that gets it to Rec 709. Do whatever you do to get to Rec 709. So I'm gonna show you guys how we go about the color space transform now. Oh my gosh, Siri, go away. Input color space. currently our input color space is S-Log3, right? Because it's a shot on a Sony. I shot at an S-Log3. So, oh, sorry. Color space is S Sony gamut 3 dot cine. The gamma is S-Log3. So I always get that as confused. Sorry about that. So yeah, gamma is S-Log3. So we need to go find that. Sony S-Log3. There we go. There's a Rec 709 image. We could say use timeline. But it's basically the same thing. So, because my timeline's set to be Rec 709 and then Rec 709 for the gamma. So if I use timeline, we should be fine. So we're gonna go Options S and create the next node. So here's the really important part. If you watch videos on this, you're gonna see this. We add another color space transform. You wanna get your input color space right. Since my timeline is Rec 709, Rec 709A, that's the correct input time color space right there with the timeline, right? So then the output color space, we're gonna go down. Sorry if you hear my cat, she's going crazy. The output color space, we can use timeline as well because I set that to Rec 709A. Actually, my input color space, my input gamma is, yeah, Rec 7 should be Rec 709. So, oh my gosh, my cat is going crazy over here. Sorry, I'm distracted. All right, diving back in, gamma. Gamma is what we want. So, let me put this. Before I do all this, let me show you guys what it looks like. Just add the LUT now, okay? Before we do this conversion. So, I want to probably grab this like, let's go midway. So there's a 60, a 50. D55 is going to be, it's kind of like Kelvin, right? So like 55, 60, 65, coolest, warmest. So let's just go 50 or 60. Sorry, 60. I'm going to throw that on here, and then we're going to look at it. It's like the blacks are crushed. Doesn't look great. Like it doesn't look like we want it. It looks. Let's turn it on and off. It looks maybe like a little more contrasty, but like it's like we're looking down here at our scopes. Blacks are crushed. So like what the heck? Well, we need a curve to kind of match that. So like a log curve. So we have Cineon film log. So that is basically Davinci Resolve like, hey, this is a film. Like this is film right here. So we need that film log curve. That, I mean, now you're seeing it with a LUT and everything. So that's everything right there. So that's all you need to do is switch that there. And then you have your LUT right here. And if you watch a lot of videos on this, you're actually going to see people who do it right. They will actually make this. Once they do that, you probably want to do this right away. Is you want to go into here and you want to go to create compound node. So now that we have this compound node, we can adjust the key level right here, or the gain key input level, output, sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm just mixing everything up. So I can take it away completely, add it back in, right? So this will allow us to adjust this because, I overdid it. So if you overdo the, what was I saying? Distracted over here, messing everything up. If you overdo, if you do it with like the LUT, it will essentially not adjust the Cineon film color space transform we did. So you want to make sure you do that. So now we can actually go in and we can do all of our adjustments here. So like if we want to like, I don't know, more contrast, right? So we want to add a little more contrast to this image. Do that right here. It's maybe looking a little yellow. We can just add a little, go to our white balance node. So you probably want to label these nodes like mine's like Command J, or Option J, sorry. I can just label them. I don't know if it's standard. That's how I set it up at least. And then color space transform. So CST. And then this compound clip we can call Option J and film. We'll say film look, right? And then this is like my contrast. Options J, and then my white balance, enter, options, back, J. This is exposure. You get the point, right? So then this will be like secondaries, whatever. We're not gonna do secondary, and then this is like my fine tuning node, whatever. So I'm just gonna do exposure real quick. Let's see, or no, maybe white balance. White balance. There you go. Doesn't look too bad. I feel like exposure maybe can drive the gamma down just a little bit. Drive the gain back up to kind of balance it out. Gamma down, gain up, gamma down. There we go. Let's just flip that on. Or I guess we can turn off our film look if we want. So we go Command D. See the difference there? I like it. So that's kind of the basics there. Now let's go and just add just a couple more effects to make it look a little bit more like film, right? Like it's shot on film, right? So let's go and add. You can add a couple things. Like we've messed with glow quite a bit. You gotta be in there. We messed with glow, halation. Spell it right. Oh gosh. So you need to add another. You add this all after your film look, okay? Because these guys are stuff that if you add before, it's gonna reflect the image, right? So. Just that threshold. Keep that there. Probably don't want to mess with saturation. Yeah, you could maybe just a little bit. It doesn't look too bad. So dye layer reflections is going to be. I'm not an expert on film, but I believe it's like when the light hits the film, like it comes through and hits the film, and then I think when it reflects back on the film is like that dye layer reflections. I'm not positive, but you can kind of see it will shift these colors around a little bit. So we added just a little bit of halation. We can even add some glow. I don't know if it'd really be necessary to add glow to this image. Let's add another node though, and let's do like film damage, right? I think Davinci Resolve has that. I'm almost positive it does. I think I use it all the time. There we go. We can add film damage and some grain. So let's do film damage. Film blur. So we can add a little bit of blur. I'm going through these quick, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm like, the main thing was to get it to that, what I was showing you guys. So, tint shift. Oops. Temp shift. Let's keep it pretty blue. There we go. And then you can like add like dirt, stuff like that. I don't know. A little blur. You guys probably don't even see this. There. Okay, now that we'll probably be able to see it on YouTube. Let's see here. Scratch position. I kind of like it over there. Make it pretty thin though. I don't want it to be super noticeable. Blur it. Yeah, there we go. So you have so much control over everything, right? So yeah, I mean that's. I could keep going into this. You could add more scratches. You could add all this other stuff. You can change the colors of everything. Like this thing's like not fully customized, like pretty customizable for all the film damage stuff. You just kind of just play with it until you find what you like. Let's add some film grain though. I'm just gonna create another note for that. We probably want to put it like if you think about when you're doing these things like in the order that it happens. So like. Honestly, the film grain is probably going to go before both of these. So options S, because it's going to go before any of the damage. Because like the film grain is going to be there always, right? That's just naturally, it's inherent of the film. So the film grain is always going to come first. So I always kind of make sure I'm doing that correctly, right? So I don't know. Let's try a 35 millimeter. I need to make sure it's big, so I might need to change that. Let's go. I always try to like make it so you can really see it. So if you need, you can do the grain only, I think the smaller ones, you're gonna get bigger pieces of grain. Yeah, see, like 8 millimeter. We're probably gonna go 16, meet in the middle, okay? Let's go 16. That should be good. It plays. We just put like a ton of effects on this guy. We have like, this is my old project. Remember I had all those effects? Oh no. Oh no, okay. Look at that. It almost looks like film. I didn't even adjust the grain yet. Okay, let's adjust the grain. So opacity, you can kind of change that a little bit. I don't know, I feel like it's pretty good right at halfway. Texture of the grain, we can adjust that. I need to adjust grain size just a little bit more, because I feel like with like YouTube's compression, you guys will not be able to see it. So keep in mind, like if there's any kind of compression, stuff like that. So that's why the dirt specs are so giant. I mean, for me, they're giant. Maybe for you guys, they're not. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that grain aspect ratio. Grain strength. Give it a good strength. You can add saturation. Normally I don't like to do that. I like to keep the saturation down. Play around with the texture. I'm liking the texture down. If you max the texture, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Yeah, I'm gonna bring that down a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's pretty much the basics right there. That's a real quick overview. I don't think I need to go any further in, honestly. I feel like that's a pretty good example of everything we're looking at. So let me just, I'll play this through. You guys can just watch it. I'll go full screen for you guys. Then we get into our really complicated effects that freeze my computer every time. We use a depth map on this, if you guys remember. So we used depth map, and then we also created the snow effect. And we used 2 layers of the snow effect because we had that depth map. So it's pretty intensive, right? So we had a lot of effects going on there. And when you start adding effects even in color, you can start to see stuff like that too. So that's kind of the idea of, oh, you guys can't even see me. That's kind of the idea of the film grain and all that. So film grain, and I converted everything to a filmish kind of look, and then added all the grain on as well. You can kind of customize your own little film deals, and like you can adjust the saturation. You just gotta think about what film looks like. If you guys don't know what film looks like, if you guys haven't ever shot film, then I highly recommend go and just look it up online. Look up some like film photos, or like some like movies that are shot on film, like actually shot on the film, and you guys will get a good idea of kind of like what it may look like. So I don't know. I don't really use film effects very often, but it's a cool tool to have in my toolbox. I actually might start this video with this film look. Maybe I'll drop the dirt size down just a little bit, but I don't mind it actually. And maybe I run it through all the clips. We'll see. So yeah, that's kind of, you can add some glow if you wanted to add, like bloom those highlights a little bit more. If you wanted to, like we did in the previous video. That's the previous video? It was like 1 or 2 videos ago. So you can do that as well. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have today. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Yeah, so we're gonna get into some special effects stuff moving forward. I want to really dive into a couple of those because I just downloaded Reactor and put it into Resolve. So super stoked to use those other fusion effects and stuff. Maybe I can make a video on how to put it in Reactor. It's not very hard. So Reactor is like a plugin to Davinci Resolve. It gives you even more fusion kind of like effects you can do, and it's open. Is it called open source? Open source where like people can like add their own little effects and stuff, so that it's like open and free to the public too. So it's all free. So it's great. It's a great source. So I'll probably make a video on that at some point. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you guys.